Hey, Coach Nate here from The Running Experience. Today we get to talk about one of my favorite topics out there on the planet, that is running form. And specifically, we're gonna talk about how to find our running form naturally. In a lot of cases, technology is really important and it's helpful, but today we're gonna talk about how we can ditch a lot of those tools, how we can get tapped into our body, and how we can really see some pretty amazing improvements. Look, when it comes to natural running form, which is really one of my favorite topics, we have to remember this one important number one golden rule. Our running is a function of our ability to move. And our ability to move is a function of how strong we are and how much range of motion our body has, which is really a function of our lifestyle. What we do, if I'm someone who has always worn pretty thick supportive shoes, maybe I lived in a city and I've spent the most of my life, or a good portion of my life, just sitting down on the ground, that's always gonna be a little bit of an effect there with my running form and technique and everything. As kids, we want to remember that we all actually ran pretty well as kids because we had that range of motion in our body and we were pretty active, right? Most kids have no problems being able to sit down here. We all have this range of motion where we've got good full range in our ankles, our knees can flex all the way, our hips can flex all the way, even in the ability to get my arm all the way up overhead or all the way back. It shows that I've got good posture and good range of motion for an arm swing. If those things start to go away, you better believe it's problematic for our mechanics. And that also brings us to shoes. Shoes are super important. I run in different pairs each week. I do run in more supportive shoes with higher levels of cushion if I'm doing longer runs like I'm doing right now. But I also have to remember that shoes will blunt the impact on the ground, which can affect my mechanics. So it's important for me to get out of those shoes so I can strengthen my feet and I can improve my mechanics, which is what we're gonna talk about in the rest of this video. Now, when we talk about natural running form, we have a hard time escaping this notion of barefoot. And going barefoot every once in a while. Now, before we go any further, I'm no barefoot evangelist. I'm not someone who runs barefoot all the time. I like my shoes, thank you very much. But I also do like spending time either in very flat minimalist shoes if I can throughout the day, because it just feels good. And also, when I run, I like to get to places where I'm in a barefoot friendly environment. Now, right now I'm on this nice, beautiful beach. So I've got my shoes off, I'm digging my feet into the sand, and what I might actually do in the middle of my run is to actually come out here and just do a few running drills and some other little run strides just to work on my feet a little bit. I could do the same thing on a grassy area, just make sure there's anything that's gonna cut up your feet. But let's talk about why that barefoot is so important. You know, first of all, we gotta talk about how this foot functions a little bit. One of the things we have to realize as I sort of balance precariously in the sand here is that, you know, my foot has this arch, and this arch plays a pretty important function of our foot in that it serves in one way as one of our natural spring boards. Now, when we think about regular shoes, we think about cushioning and support, but you better believe that that little thin layer of cushioning underneath your foot is not taking all this impact of your body crashing on the ground with every single step. It's actually your body that's doing the majority of it, the shoes just helping a teeny bit. And a big portion of this is your foot's ability to spring. And notice that when my foot's relaxed, I kind of push up on my arch, I get a little springboard that starts to occur, right? This natural spring is what really helps me absorb those footfalls. Now, if you're someone who says, well, hey, what about me? I lack arches or don't have a lot of arch support, or I need arch support, it's telling us something that perhaps your feet are not as strong as they could be. And just like strength training, any other aspect, when we start to improve the strength, not only do we support the musculature around it, but we actually improve the position of itself. So you're actually, not only will your feet get stronger, but by getting your feet stronger, you actually will be able to build and develop an arch, because we were all born with it. We can all go back there. That makes a huge difference. I can't even overestimate it. And one of the best ways to do it, as I said, really simply, is to ditch the shoes, spend some time running in places where you don't have anything. I'll talk about that in the next segment, is specifically what we can do. The other thing, when I'm on the ground, I'm more aware, my posture's a little bit better, I'm just more connected, and I can just start to move better, which is then gonna translate to better running mechanics. So, at least once per week for one of my runs, what I'd like to do is spend some time of that run barefoot. Now, if you're brand new to this, it should be on a very short distance over a very soft and forgiving surface like this beach. And what I might do is just some, strides and drills back and forth, say over like a 30-meter section. So I'm just gonna start here and I'm just gonna run nice and barefoot. Hit my 30 meters on one side, and then I'm just gonna run on the way back. And one of the nice things about running barefoot is that I'm just so much more aware of where my foot's hitting the ground, how it's hitting the ground. You're gonna notice that you're gonna be a little taller. You're gonna notice that your cadence is gonna wanna be a little higher, so your feet are landing right underneath you. You may notice that it kind of sucks to run and land on our heels. It's not so comfortable, so we're gonna get that slight toe heel ball of foot happening. Sometimes people describe it that way. And you're gonna see some real nice benefits there. And I could run a little bit faster, but in the beginning, I just need to run a little bit there. And literally, the magic, guys, is in taking your shoes off and spending a little bit time here. Just doing this, spending time with your foot on the ground, we're gonna start to see that strength start to happen. We have done other videos on our channel. Specifically, we talk about ankle and foot strengthening exercises where I could be walking up on my toes, walking up on my heels, doing some ankle circles and other ways to strengthen some of the muscles and tendons and ligaments around your feet and your ankles as well. So that's another big valuable piece. And then finally, the last thing I want to do, I'll talk about in a second, is just going to be footwear for the rest of my day. Now, our final piece in terms of really cementing our natural running form and really building it in is going to be our choice of footwear. Because remember, as I said in the very, very beginning, our running form is a natural function of an expression of our range of motion and our strength. And our range of motion or strength is really a function of our lifestyle, what we do on a daily basis without thinking about that affects our body. So just by choosing the shoes that you wear, that's going to affect the lifestyle, and that's going to affect your strength and range of motion, which will affect your running. You see that little chain of events there. Now, when it comes to footwear, I don't want to just choose one shoe. I want to use a shoe as a tool, and I want to be specific with what I'm doing with it. For certain shoes, there are always going to be trade-offs with what you can do with it. Now, for a shoe like this, is something that's a strike interval. This is sort of my daily shoe that I will train in the gym and walk around. You may notice I film a lot of it too. I like the shoe because it's pretty flat. It's only got a couple millimeter heel drop, and it's very minimal and unsupportive and flexible, which I really like. So I feel like I'm just getting some protection of the foot, just a teeny bit of cushion, but other than that, super, super awesome. Would I run 15 miles in this shoe? No, I would not. I would choose a shoe that's a little bit more structured and a little bit more supportive to help me out there. And in fact, when I'm even running, runs of 4 to 5 to 8 miles, I'm gonna do something a little bit more supportive too. But what I'm not going to do is wear my long run shoe every single day, right? Just because it feels good. Because if I do that, my feet are gonna atrophy, they're going to stiffen up, and I'm gonna have a consequence with my mechanics everywhere else. So guys, that's the last final piece I wanted you to think about. Really think about the lifestyle choices you make and how that affects your running and how you can switch that stuff around to really improve your running form nice and naturally. Hey, if you like this video, let us know. Drop a like down below. We always like to see that. If you have any comments or questions on natural running form, I know we're really just scratching the surface here in this conversation. Definitely drop any comments or questions down in the comment section. We will respond to you and we'll get a little conversation going for sure. Subscribe to our channel if you want more videos like this, as well as on marathon training, injury prevention, running technique, everything you could think of in terms of the running world. We got something for you. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And finally, we have a 2-week free quick start running program that we want to send you. And all you need to do to get access to these awesome workouts on run technique, breathing exercises, warm-ups, strength training, everything you need to be a good runner that you could do right from home. All you need to do is click the link at the end of this video or the link down in the description. Once you go to that webpage, you're gonna enter your name and your email, and then I'll be able to personally send you that quick start guide. Sounds pretty good, right? Well, anyway, guys, thank you again for watching. I'll catch you in the next video.